Welcome to episode 211 of Build Your House Yourself University by BYHYU. I'm your host and fellow student, Michelle Nelson, and together we'll learn the basics of home design and construction and demystify the building process so we can become informed consumers and build quality dream homes with or without a general contractor. Between having to regularly endure the weight of heavy vehicles and varying outdoor elements, such as driving rain, sweltering heat, ice, and snow, driveways get lots of use and abuse. Therefore, it's important that we choose the best driveway surface for our circumstances. There are several options to choose from, and each has its pros and cons with respect to durability, maintenance, aesthetics, sustainability, and price. Keep in mind, when you're considering price, you want to be sure to factor in not only the initial cost of your driveway, but also the long-term costs associated with maintenance. You'll also want to think about how the material will perform in your area's climate. Some driveway materials may be better for your region's weather conditions than others. In this mini lesson, we'll talk about the most commonly used driveway materials on the market, starting with the least expensive option. As we go through the list, you'll see that the options get progressively more costly. First on our list is gravel. Gravel has a pretty low upfront cost at $1 to $3 per square foot, and that's usually for a 2-inch layer. Gravel is fast and easy to install and comes in several different colors, allowing you to customize the look of the driveway to complement your house. The gravel itself can last up to 100 years, but gravel lost to erosion or lost during snow removal needs to be periodically replaced over the lifetime of the driveway. How often depends on how readily the gravel is lost. Gravel is a great option for the budget-conscious homeowner or for people with long driveways who'll need lots of driveway material. Gravel also compacts well, creating a more stable surface that sheds water easily. Installation of a gravel driveway is usually pretty uncomplicated. No specific base soil layer is required in most cases. You can generally just dump the gravel and spread it. If you have particularly unstable soil, you may need a significantly thicker layer of gravel, usually 6 to 8 inches. The main disadvantage of gravel driveways is that most gravel driveways need some of the gravel replaced periodically, sometimes as often as every 1 to 2 years, depending on how much traffic passes and how much rain and snow the region gets. Gravel driveways tend to do better in drier, warmer climates. In regions that get regular snow, gravel is not an ideal driveway surface since it's difficult to clear the driveway with a snowblower or shovel. When removing snow, you'll also be removing gravel, requiring replacement gravel more often. Regular or heavy rains can cause erosion of gravel, again, requiring you to replace gravel sooner rather than later. But snow and rain aren't the only reasons you'll need to replace gravel. Smaller gravel pieces tend to naturally sink after 4 to 5 years, leaving larger stones on top. Periodic redressing is necessary. Redressing is a term that means adding a fill coat of pea gravel. Again, it's a fairly simple process, but it needs to be done regularly. Here's a pro tip for redressing a gravel driveway. When a fill coat of pea gravel is necessary to fill in ruts, grooves, or depressions in a gravel driveway, be sure to redress the entire driveway for consistency, since stone size and color can vary depending on the source. Gravel is an eco-friendly option since it can be sourced locally and it provides a porous surface for the absorption of rainwater. For even less environmental impact, you can request recycled gravel made from old crushed concrete. Next, we move to asphalt. Asphalt is the black material that's used for most public roads and highways. An asphalt driveway is durable and it'll last 12 to 20 years with regular sealing. Because asphalt flexes a bit with minor ground movement, it resists cracks. And if asphalt needs to be repaired, top coats of asphalt can often be applied over the existing layers of asphalt. Prices of asphalt vary considerably from $2 to $6 per square foot, depending on your region and what additives and extras you want included. One of the disadvantages is aesthetics. Getting completely straight, clean edges on an asphalt driveway is difficult, and asphalt is definitely not the prettiest driveway surface. Another disadvantage is that asphalt can deteriorate in as little as 5 years without proper drainage and maintenance. Asphalt needs regular resealing. In most regions, resealing is necessary every 2 to 5 years. When properly installed and maintained with sealant, an asphalt driveway will feel and act a lot like a more expensive concrete driveway. And because asphalt is a petroleum product similar to tar, it's flexible and less likely to crack than concrete. Because it's less likely to crack as compared to concrete, asphalt performs better in cold climates with frequent freeze-thaw cycles. The black color of asphalt is also good for cold climates since it retains heat and helps to melt snow more readily. Finally, asphalt is probably the least environmentally friendly of all the options. Asphalt is made of oil and petroleum byproducts combined with stone particles, and because of the oil and petroleum, producing asphalt can be harmful to the environment. In addition, although some asphalt is considered porous, rainwater can often run off and can be a problem and stress the municipal water systems. Using recycled asphalt or cold mixed asphalt that doesn't require excessive heat to install can help reduce an asphalt driveway's negative impact on the environment. Next on our list is concrete, which, along with asphalt, is one of the most popular driveway materials used. The cost of a concrete driveway varies depending on the type of concrete you request. Expect to pay $3 to $4 per square foot for a plain concrete slab, $5 per square foot for pigmented concrete, and $8 for an acid-etched finish. Concrete driveways have a long lifespan, lasting up to 50 years with proper sealing and drainage. But poor drainage and unstable soil beneath the concrete driveway can reduce the lifespan to just 8 years. Concrete is perhaps the most durable and versatile driveway options. It provides a smooth, stable, and secure foundation that holds up well in most climates and requires minimal maintenance. Aesthetically, concrete is one of the more plain Jane options. It can look pretty boring, unless it's stained, stamped to mimic stone, or acid etched. But honestly, stained, stamped, and acid-etched concrete are not very popular looks these days. They can actually make your driveway look sort of dated. And realize that driveway stains, they can fade over time. A more popular thing you can do to make concrete driveways a little prettier and more interesting is to add accent pavers to a driveway that's made of concrete. Pavers can add color and pattern to an otherwise boring concrete driveway. And although pavers can be expensive, adding them as accents here and there is much more affordable than having the driveway entirely made of pavers. It's also thought that the addition of pavers can cut down on the number of cracks that develop in the concrete because they allow for movement in the concrete driveway. Take a look at the show notes for examples of concrete driveways with paver accents. The other aesthetic downside to concrete driveways are the cracks, which are simply unavoidable. When water penetrates concrete, it will freeze and expand when the temperatures drop during the winter. This is one of the main ways cracks form. Cracks can be filled and repaired, but the repairs don't blend in. They actually stand out. And concrete can't be relayered like asphalt can. So resealing concrete is super important. Control joints are the most widely used method to control random cracking in concrete slabs or driveways. Control joints are planned cracks or lines in concrete, which allow for slight movement in the concrete caused by temperature changes and drying shrinkage. Think of the lines in sidewalks that you see when you're walking along a sidewalk. Remember that saying, step on a crack, break your mother's back? The thought is that since concrete is inevitably going to crack, you want to design the concrete driveway with control joints so that you can help determine where the cracks will be, and so that cracks will be more likely made in a straight line along the control joints instead of randomly. There is some science as to where control joints should be, but you might be able to add a simple geometric decorative pattern of control joints to your concrete driveway. Just ask your concrete contractor about that. Although concrete driveways are one of the most maintenance-free driveway options, they should be sealed occasionally to reduce water infiltration and stains. Dry-look concrete sealants are more expensive, but they're readily absorbed into the concrete for longer-lasting protection, and they can last up to 10 years. Wet-look sealants are less expensive, and they prevent grease and oil stains. But wet-look sealants must be reapplied every 3 to 5 years. Concrete settling and heaving are also possible cons of a poorly installed concrete driveway. Concrete settling is a result of pouring concrete without proper soil compaction beforehand. If pockets of air are left in the ground under the concrete, over time the weight of the concrete will cause the air pockets to kind of burst and disappear, allowing the soil to sink and settle. Settling concrete has a concave or caved-in appearance. Now, what about heaving? With heaving concrete, the concrete has a heaped-up appearance in the middle of the concrete slab that's higher than the edges. Heaving is caused by soil beneath the concrete expanding upward and then sometimes sinking back down. That expansion and contraction of soil is due to poor soil conditions. If the soil beneath the concrete absorbs water easily, the soil will swell when saturated with water, then shrink during dry periods. Clay soil beneath a concrete driveway commonly causes heaving. When there is wet, soggy clay soil present, it needs to be removed, or the installer needs to put a good stone base on top of the clay before installing the concrete driveway. Concrete, because it's impermeable to water, can send excess rainwater into the sewer systems and waterways instead of into the ground, and this can stress municipal water systems, making concrete a less environmentally friendly option. A more sustainable option is pervious concrete, which has little or no sand in its mix and allows water to run through the porous surface. This also eliminates runoff issues. Consumers can also choose low-carbon concrete mixes, which are a greener option. Another greener choice would be to look for concrete suppliers that use recycled aggregate, which is ground-up concrete as a replacement for the raw gravel in the concrete. Next on our list are pavers. Pavers can be made of natural stone or can be made of man-made concrete forms. Pavers are beautiful, and they come in numerous shapes and colors to complement your home. Pavers can be installed in many different patterns to give your driveway a really unique look. They're extremely long-lasting, but they're also very expensive. Depending on what they're made of, pavers can cost $6 to $30 per square foot installed, and they require quite a bit of labor, time, and skill for installation. But pavers can last 30 to 100 years, and there's almost no maintenance. Man-made concrete pavers and brick pavers, as you can imagine, are more affordable than natural stone pavers. And man-made pavers and bricks are much easier to install than natural stone because they'll have a uniform thickness and shape and contrast to natural stone. Not only are man-made pavers easier to initially install, but stained or broken pavers are easy to replace. Materials for pavers can come from quarries from around the world, and they can be eco-friendly if you use local natural stone or regionally manufactured concrete pavers. The most environmentally friendly installation option includes using sand or pebbles between pavers rather than a concrete-based filler. Using sand or pebbles between pavers improves permeability, allowing more rainwater to soak into the ground rather than running off to stress municipal water systems. Installation of pavers requires careful excavation and preparation. Pavers and cobblestones can settle unevenly if the installer fails to prepare the ground properly. And if the installer leaves wide joints between pavers, that will increase your chances of getting unattractive weeds and grass growing between them. Be wary of inexperienced paver installers. Placing pavers looks easy, and if you study, it could be a DIY project, but specialized skills are required. Remember that these surfaces are only as good as the compacted sand and crushed stone they're laid on. Last on our list are rubber driveways. Rubber driveways are a somewhat new addition to the market, and I didn't even know about them until I started researching this podcast. Most rubber driveways are made of recycled tires. Rubber driveway material comes in pavers or it can be poured in place. Rubber driveways are made similarly to the newer rubber tracks that you may have seen installed in some middle schools and high schools. Rubber driveways are extremely durable and wear and tear resistant, and they don't have to be sealed or resealed, and they don't crack, and they hold up extremely well in extreme weather conditions. Rubber has a great amount of shock absorbency, and it makes an ideal choice for homes with small children who will be playing or riding bikes on the driveway. Rubber driveways are the most eco-friendly option on the market, but one of the main disadvantages is that there are only a few styles and color options, and rubber can fade over time. So if driveway aesthetics are important to you, rubber may not be the best option. The stated cost of rubber driveways varied as I looked at different sources online, but most sources concluded that rubber driveways are expensive. HomeAdvisor.com says that they are $12 to $25 per square foot, depending on the quality and thickness of the rubber used. Rubber is becoming a popular alternative to concrete and asphalt because it's easy to clean and holds up well in areas with harsh winters, and it's not affected by salt placed on the driveway to melt ice or snow, and it's not affected by freeze or thaw cycles. However, rubber may have a tendency to soften a bit during extremely hot days. One last note about choosing a driveway installer. If you're not using a builder, you can Google driveway or paver contractors in your area to get a list of names to check out. Once you narrow down a few contractors, ask to inspect driveways that the contractors completed at least 4 to 5 years ago to see how the driveway has held up. Once you've inspected the contractor's work, before making a commitment to that contractor, be sure the contract guarantees the work for at least 2 years. All right, we're almost finished, but let's do a couple of quiz questions to recap some of what we've learned. Question number 1. What is the most economical driveway material to install? A, gravel, B, asphalt, C, concrete, or D, pavers? The answer is A, gravel. Gravel is $1 to $3 per square foot, but it's important to take into account the replacement cost of gravel driveways when considering the overall cost. In some areas, replacement gravel has to be added to driveways every 1 to 2 years. And question number 2, which is the least eco-friendly driveway option? A, gravel, B, asphalt, C, concrete, D, pavers, or E, rubber? The answer is B, asphalt. Asphalt is the least environmentally friendly of all the options. It's made of oil and petroleum byproducts combined with stone particles, and because of the oil and petroleum, producing asphalt is harmful to the environment. In addition, although some asphalt is considered porous, rainwater often runs off and can be a problem, which can stress municipal water systems. rubber driveway material, which is made of recycled tires, is the most sustainable option. Well, that's it for the mini lesson today. I hope you learned as much as I did. And I hope you'll join me again for another episode of Build Your House Yourself University by BYHYU. Please remember that the purpose of this podcast is simply to educate and inform. It's not a substitute for professional advice. The information that you hear is based only on the opinions, research, and experiences of my guests and myself. That information might be incomplete, it's subject to change, and it may not apply to your project. In addition, building codes and requirements vary from region to region, so always consult a professional about specific recommendations for your home.